Hey everybody, what is going on? I am Maximus Rex and this is Big Baby Reviews. Today is Rob Liefeld Day, so we are looking at the next issue from his run of the early 90s, The New Mutants, issue 96, December 1990. Just reminding you, we are on the road to 250 subs. We're not far off. And once we hit that magical number, we will have a special video for you guys. So please subscribe if you haven't done so and you're watching and enjoying the videos. It really helps the channel out. Without further ado, we'll talk about this issue in front of us. First thing I want to mention, we see it here on the cover, Liefeld inked by Art THIBERT, and that's how they say it, THIBERT to THIBERT. I don't know. I know it's a French name, so it's actually in French THIBERT, but I don't know if anyone cares about that. I said it anyways. But yeah, this cover inked by Art THIBERT. I'll just call him Art because it's not quite as annoying. Does a pretty good job over Liefeld overall, and with the style that Liefeld's kind of pushing at this time with the weird kind of hatching for no reason, but it's still interesting and kind of works. I kind of get what he's going for. It's quick, right? He's trying to get it done quickly. I think like that deadline style is what's developing here. If you've ever heard John Romita Jr. talk about his style, when they ask him about it, he says it's a deadline style. You know, it's a whatever style I need to do or way to get to draw it to get it done on time. So I assume that's somewhat of what develops more mainstream comic book artist style. For sure, it's definitely a consideration and it makes sense. But I still think it looks cool. It's got that Liefeld energy from back in the day. It's a little rough hewn, you know, and I like that. THIBERT art, makes some interesting choices as far as the inking goes here. Some kind of more expressive, thicker lines, which I find interesting. He's probably working pretty fast as well, but I find that when it comes to the overall Liefeld effect and style, he's much better at staying truer to that early 90s, you know, he's from the West Coast as well, that early 90s style. You know, he inked Jim Lee as well. He drew his own stuff where he's kind of cloning kind of Jim Lee's look, at least back in the day. So I think maybe just like Scott Williams, it's a style that really works well over Liefeld as well. And I would say even truer to the Liefeld underneath than what Scott Williams is doing. But this is another kind of interesting cover in all the covers, the run that Liefeld did on New Mutants. I gotta say, he really got some interesting inkers. At a certain point, you'll see like the covers are just his till the end, from, you know, I think the next issue until the end of the run of New Mutants. Definitely all him, pretty sure. We'll see that anyways. We've got those issues. But right here, we still get another example, someone else inking Rob Liefeld, and we saw the example with Scott Williams and Tom McFarlane. So those aspects artistically are really interesting to kind of analyze and look at in this New Mutants run of covers. So I've gone on way too much about this cover, so let's open her up and have a look inside, see what's going on. Okay, so first of all, the credits are not on this page, so like this is not the greatest page to be introduced to any comic, I would say. It's not horrible. You know, the composition and stuff is fine, but just if you're expecting Liefeld, you're like, what the hell is going on here, right? It's like, I feel traces of it, but I don't really see it much, right? I see it in the profiles. I've talked to you guys about the Liefeld profiles that he does. Kind of looks most times like everyone's eating a popsicle, and I'll leave it at that. Just, I've always thought he had an odd profile drawing. It's okay, kind of weird here. No, actually, this one's pretty good. Maybe the inker did something there. So I'll get back to that page real quick just to kind of contrast and compare and contrast, however, whatever order you want to say that in. We'll go through the credits and I'll talk about this. So Louis Simonson is still the writer, possibly just the plotter, but because this is the crossover, right? What's the name of this one again? It's on the cover. Extinction Agenda. She's involved in that, I guess, in the plotting and stuff. So Rob Liefeld has mentioned he kind of checked out, but I find for this thing and getting the next issues ready, I've talked about this, kind of checked out for the crossover. But this issue particularly, the last one we looked at was kind of crappy, but this one actually looks really good to me, and I think it comes down to our friend Art, because as you'll see, the inkers here, so Louis Simonson writer, Rob Liefeld penciler, the inkers Art THIBERT and Joseph Rubinstein inkers. Task Force Z, letters, no idea who those people are, or that group. Steve Buccellato, not sure I'm saying that right, probably saying it wrong, is the colorist. And night and day between these pages, right, where I would say it's pretty darn close to like what Liefeld was putting down with his pencils, and then you get some bits in the background where maybe it starts to resemble a little bit more like the X-Men Jim Lee kind of style, maybe down here a little bit, but overall is being very faithful, I think, to Liefeld's faces and pencils. Here's the thing too, Liefeld's mentioned that he would ink the faces himself, on X-Force at least, when he had assistants and stuff, and possibly he's doing it here too, so there's that. But I mean, overall, art is giving us a much better kind of finish over Liefeld than what Joseph Rubinstein's given us here on this page, and that we've seen in past issues, you know, near the beginning, I think, of the run where he was being inked by him. It doesn't quite work, to be honest. It's like there's conflicting styles, where Art Thibert's, yeah, just way more synergistic with what Rob Liefeld's putting down. And again, this is a period of Rob Liefeld where he's still doing, like, he's doing the cool 90s vertical panel. He's doing it well here. This is like, this is actually a pretty hard angle to draw, and I feel like he's done a pretty good job of it here. Again, the inking is great and gives off the Liefeld vibes. Like I said, there's just little parts where maybe it can look a little bit like Jim Lee, which is fine. You know, I could see those kind of styles meshing and working. So yeah, it's almost like, you know, imagine if Jim Lee inked Rob Liefeld. And I know he's probably done one or two image illustrations back in the day where they did that. They kind of jammed on stuff here and there. If anyone has some, I'd like to see that. Rob Liefeld inked by Jim Lee, or Jim Lee inked by Rob Liefeld. I think he did a Wildcats cover. Anyways, still a lot of storytelling and a lot of panels in what's going on here. So, does my favorite, the double page splash with insert panels? I mean, I would, yeah, just the negative space kind of implies it's a double page splash, but not really, right? It's more like two different pages. It's kind of a clever trick having the border go over here, so it gives the impression this was tightened up a bit. You can still work within those parameters. And clearly these are pages inked by Art Thibert. We get the loose open hatching here, the quadra hatching. I don't know what you'd call that. Checkered hatching. That's what I've heard before. Odd choice to just make the arm, the whole arm, the same color with all these like extra little bits of design here. I mean, I feel like you'd have at least a choice of bicolor, right? Like two different colors. That would make a bit more sense, but hey. Deadline Comics, I guess at this point, you know, Image hadn't come in yet with the computer coloring and really pushing things, so I sometimes feel Liefeld maybe had his assistants, like, I see resemblance with, like, what was that Image series? Brigade, right? When I first saw it, I was like, oh, this guy draws like Rob Liefeld. And then I started looking at old issues of X-Force and stuff, and started, even when I was a kid, before I knew about all this behind-the-scenes stuff, assistants and stuff like that, I was like, man, did he have someone else draw this and draw that? There's certain, when we get to those X-Force issues in the reviews, I'll talk about it. And I'm wondering if some of it wasn't starting here, you know? Maybe it's just the effect of a Liefeld face being inked by Art Thibert here, maybe. But I get those vibes. He's using that big black border, which I always enjoy. And here we get what I guess is a Rubinstein, I can't say his name, Rubinstein page. So it still looks Liefeldish, but you know, the look of it drops off a little bit on this page. He's trying with the thinner lines and stuff, but like the Beast is a dead giveaway. I'm wondering if maybe Liefeld spent literally no time on drawing him in the background there for deadline reasons, and the inker just finished him up, because that, I would never believe that's even a Liefeld structure at that point. Cable for sure. I mean, he tried on Cable. It's not bad. Still feel like maybe Liefeld inked the face there. Like, look at that. That has nothing to do with Liefeld at all. So I would definitely assume this page, if you look, is just kind of awkward, and I feel like it's the inker not really helping him out at all. Just really showing that he wasn't given much, I guess, in as much as the actual basic pencils that Liefeld was sending him. Possibly. I don't know for sure, but that's what it seems like. And then, yeah, clearly Thibert's jumping back on here, and everything starts looking great again. That's a pretty cool looking Archangel. These odd Liefeld tropes, angles, the no eyes. I've seen this face 1,000 times in Rob Liefeld's art. And here, I mean, I wouldn't say these are horrible, but once again, the thicker lines, all around. Definitely an indication of Rubinstein. And I mean, it could kind of work. It's not bad here. In some instances, I feel like he's actually trying to, you know, nail what Liefeld's putting down in the pencils. And then there's just other instances where it's, I don't know, like these shots here doesn't mesh really well. And because of the dual nature of the inkers here, right away we got to look at, like, you know, Art THIBERT making it look way better, you know, more modern right away. Okay, I say modern. Back in the 90s, obviously, that was like, you know, super high-tech artwork, super cutting edge, you know. Got some more kind of typical Liefeld poses on this page. Some more 90s ads. The print quality is horrible on this. Oh, geez, yeah, we're getting a lot of ink stains on pages, sitting on pages. Yeah, like even here, I have to guess it's Rubinstein. Just so odd. Makes it very angular. I don't know what it is. It still looks like Liefeld here. Not so much here, but like, yeah, not quite sure what they were thinking there. All of a sudden, Gambit's here. In that strange way that Liefeld, you know, draws capes and trench coats and stuff. I wonder where he got that from. Did Art Adams do something similar at some point? I feel like that's probably what it is, but I could be wrong. So if anyone knows the answer, let me know in the comments. This page is pretty good. Still think it's Rubinstein ink in that one. I guess he got an interesting page. You know, it's always nice to get a page where you can ink a big kind of character being dynamic. Maybe that's what it is. It could be Art THIBERT, but I doubt it. I think that page is Rubinstein. It's a little closer to Liefeld as well. A little truer to the pencils. Getting some interesting layouts still from Liefeld. Not cheaping out on the panel layouts, the number of panels per page. There's some storytelling going on. Then there's weird, odd panels that you're like, did Liefeld even draw underneath that? Like, what's going on? This character, if I'm seeing this right, I'm trying to, it's almost like the bottom half of this guy, Richter, disappears, but actually he's got one leg here and one thigh here and one leg there, so he's kind of split. But of course, with, you know, these are weird, just weird layouts and tangents there. Big mess of legs. Looks like that character from back in the day, He-Man, that toy that we used to break apart and, you know, move the arms around the head. You could put them in many different configurations. Stephen Platt, original appearance. Just kidding. And now we're back to the Art THIBERT for sure. And right away, just the pages, you know, light up and are just much more dynamic and like much more modern for the 1990s, the early 90s, for that style that would become the image style, the extreme style, right? Just love the dynamics here. I mean, people complain about Rob Liefeld making his women bend and twist in different positions and odd positions that probably they shouldn't, where their spines are broken. Cable's doing it too. That's quite a buttock. Odd finishing off here though, like not bringing it down there. You know, it's not the end of the world, but it's, you know, there's got to be a better way to finish that off, just composition wise. Just like this little shot. I think that's Forge right there. Just, I don't know, something about this panel I like. It looks like he's drawn a McFarlane hand here. The same shot, but from the other side. Why not? Recycle it. It looks cool. Those backgrounds. That is great. Should have thrown some in here too. But yeah, that's funny. I like, you know, I'm making fun. But here, great composition, I think, with all the multiple characters kind of overlapping each other a little bit. That's a clever way of creating that depth in the image. Very good. Foreground, background, everything kind of, those different layers of middle ground. Very good panel here. I like that. It's like a Kirby kind of panel. That's how I describe it. Composition-wise, right? Maybe a Rubinstein page? Yeah, I think so. And the fingers and the hands are getting really thin. I think it's Rubinstein. And pretty sure that finishes off with our THIBERT. A few odd Rob Liefeld 3/4 profiles now from the back. And that is the end of your issue. Something I like about this. Like an alien Ripley. I don't know how I describe it, but that's how it came out. So there you have it. That was Extinction Agenda, The New Mutants, issue 96, part 5 of Extinction Agenda, excuse me. I'm having trouble talking. If you enjoyed this issue and you have any comments, questions, concerns, or answers to some of the questions I asked during the video, please let me know. And I hope everyone out there has a great day.
Like! Subscribe! Like! Subscribe!
King Comics presents Big Baby, Volume 1, Issues 1 to 13, 204 pages of story and art. King Comics also presents Star Crasher one-shot, 32 pages, cosmic sci-fi surrealist adventure. You can find these fine comics at KINGCOMICS.CA, at MaximusRex13 on Instagram, or on Facebook, MaxRex or Big Baby.